Hi, Trevor here, Life Reflection Requests. Thank you for stopping by. Well, coming again today, you're very, very welcome. I trust you enjoyed my last request on the Moya sisters from Australia, but born in Scotland. And we looked at good morning, how are you? And that whole good morning thing in relationships. So I trust you found that one encouraging. We're going on to another request today. This story started in 1969 in Melbourne. There was a few bands and people going around at that stage. We had Brian Cadd and Don Murdy of the group. We had Glenn Sherrick of the Twilights and Chris Stockley of Compact and Don Lebler of the Avengers. And all those bands were kind of involved in a bit of a competition back there called Hayley Battle of the Sounds, and the winner would actually win a trip to London. Now, it's unfortunate for the group and the Twilights, even though they won, they didn't really get a foothold in Australia, and it was only a matter of time before Brian Cadd, of course, his Australian music royalty, said, hey, this isn't good enough, what are we going to do instead? So he approached all of those guys I mentioned before and said, hey, let's start a new group and let's call ourselves Axiom. Now, Axiom, the name Axiom came out from fan requests, and these guys were penned as a supergroup in Australia because when it came to the late 1960s, these guys are absolutely massive. Of course, Brian Cadd would go on to have a pretty amazing career. And Glenn Sherrick would actually go on to form the Little River Band, or be part of the Little River Band, and Chris Stockley would go on to be part of the Dingoes. And so we're talking about Australian music royalty in this band all in one place. They were signed to EMI Parlophone pretty soon because EMI said, well, yeah, no, well, who wouldn't want to sign these guys? And so they did that. And out soon after that time, Arkansas Grass got released as a single, and this got to number 7 on one chart and number 9 on another. And in fact, it was actually touted by a Canadian paper that this was the best single of 1969. And because of some of the content, this song also appealed to the United States as well. Arkansas Grass, you can see that these guys are very much a country rock genre, incredible harmonies, incredible musicianship, just an all-round well-blended outfit. So we've got the official clip of that one. A little bit later, out came the single A Little Ray of Sunshine. Here in the official clip, we see Glenn Sherrick taking lead vocals here. A very, very young Glenn Sherrick. Just know that this is how he got his start, and we get on to be part of the Little River Band. We've got an official clip of that one below. This one got to number 5. The story is all apparently about a new child, but to a divorced couple. And one of the things about Axiom is they weren't scared to call out social commentary when it needed to be called out. And so A Little Ray of Sunshine was an absolute Australian classic, and one that Brian Cadd in particular and Glenn Sherrick actually have made the most of ever since. Around 1970, the album Fool's Gold was released, and according to some lists going around, in the 100 best Australian albums of all time. It's around this time overseas, Warner's UK came calling and say, we want to sign you guys up because we reckon you've got something to offer the world. And so they Axiom got signed to them well and truly. And so around that time, that they actually released the song My Baby's Gone. This came off the album If Only in 1971. This is a song I've been asked to look at today. When I look at the lyrics of this one, it's all about a balance between, hey, I'm in a relationship, but I also want my freedom. In fact, freedom is such a compelling thing, I'm actually going to leave you to go for it. And this leaves the guy, in this case, thinking, well, that's a bit of a thing, but you know what? You're not going to find what you're looking for out there. Freedom works for some people, but it doesn't work for everybody. I think this brings up the notion of the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence. But as we know, it often isn't, because when you're in a relationship, you are known by somebody. They know everything about you. They spend intimate moments with you. They know what makes you tick. They know where your buttons are. They know how to communicate with you. They've learned to trust you. They've learned to just be invested in you. They've learned even to dream dreams of future with you. So there's a lot tied up in relationships. But you know what? In this era of online dating too, I mean, there's nothing to stop people going on apps and just seeing what else is out there. Well, that's verging on a betrayal to your existing partner, isn't it? You don't want to be looking when you're in love with somebody else and someone's in love with you. The concept of in love means that you're both invested, both part of it. Yes, the concept of freedom is pretty compelling, isn't it? But what are you giving up for that freedom? You may never find what you're looking for. Now, I can understand in abusive relationships, absolutely, that's a different kettle of fish. But when things are going on pretty well and pretty cruisy and it's pretty effortless, no, there is no grass greener on the other side. The grass is pretty green on your side. Human hearts are restless, aren't they? We're always looking for the next best thing. Sometimes the best thing we can do is just settle. Because if what we got is pretty good, why would you want to disrupt that thing? Of course, also in relations, you've got to have this balance of togetherness and freedom as well. And so it all kind of gets all wound up together because, you know, if you can feel free in your relationship, well, you've got freedom. You don't need to go off looking and disregarding something for this elusive thing called freedom. So if you're in this sort of position right now where you really are quite almost on the verge of walking out to be free, just hang on for a second, think about what you're doing, and it could be a communication opportunity for your partner who may have no idea what's coming. So there seems to be a bit of a trend lately in these videos about, you know, the breakup time and the breakup period, and particularly when there's not really any compelling reason to split up, but we split up anyway. So I think there's a bit of a trend of late for just to be aware that if you are in a relationship, you're very lucky indeed. It's a beautiful thing to have love in your life. So I trust that will be encouraging for you today. And thank you for the guide for suggesting this song today. We've got a studio clip of My Baby's Gone below. All the guys are there. Glenn Shorak, Brian Cadd, and the boys are all there. Well, just before If Only was released, the band decided to break up. And Warner Brothers are going, right, oh, okay, well, that's a bit of a thing. But the album did get out eventually. And so in the short period of time that Axiom were together, they did release 2 studio albums, one in Australia and one overseas. So in the scheme of things, they did pretty well for themselves. In 2004, there was a bit of a compilation, Axiom Archive, released as well. So as I've said, Glenn Shorak went on to become the lead singer of the Little River Band. Brian Cadd and Muddy had a bit of a duo thing when they came back. Brian Cadd really truly had a solo career, and Chris Stockley went on to form the Dingoes. And we might as well have a look at them next time on this channel. So that's where we'll head next time. So there's 3 clips that are in the description below, and I've also included my last video from last request, the Moore sisters. So if you want to recap on them, feel free. Well, if this is your first time to Life Reflections through music, or in this case requests, thank you for stopping by. So until next time, I'll catch you around. Bye for now.